I'm a diehard capitalist. I make no apologies for that. I think capitalism has created more wealth and lifted more people out of poverty than any force on earth. But one massive, massive, massive downside of capitalism is that it feeds on the human desire for more. We were just talking about this, bigger and stronger and faster and taller, and it has become the American way. You can never be content. Advertisers, I worked in advertising. I worked at Procter & Gamble in marketing. I started on the engineering side and product supply and went over to marketing, to the dark side. And American society, American advertisers do not want you to be happy because how will they sell you anything, right? That's the whole thing. Keeping up with the Joneses is a cliche for a reason, and we're always looking up at what other people have. And that's the thing with this country that's different from a lot of other countries. Living in Cincinnati, anyone here from Cincinnati? Clap. Anyone? Okay, some Cincinnati folks, hooday. Some of my, hopefully, Bengals fans in the house, 1 and 4, I don't know, but we'll see where we go with that. But the thing is, you could live in Mason, Ohio, which is a very, great suburb, very high-end place. You could drive down I-71, you could go to the GO, and you could shop at Kenwood Town Center, and every single city across America is like that. You'll have your equivalents of the great suburb, the rich people's freeway, where the trains don't go over the streets, they go over bridges. That's how you know it's a rich suburb, Poor suburbs, it goes over the street. Otherwise it goes, the rich people, they don't have time to wait for the train, right? So it has to go under or over. It goes over your street, you're in a poor neighborhood. So that's how we live near a train, by the way. So I could say that in Burbank, and it does go right over the street. So you can go this way and go throughout your entire day, your entire week, your entire year without seeing anyone poor. It's true. We're very isolated in this country. My parents would say that ever since I came from India. We're isolated. I didn't know what that meant because in India, it is not like that at all. It is not like that because everybody is together. A lot of countries in Asia are like this as well. I always like to say countries in Asia are like if you take all 3 Back to the Future movies and you jam them into one TikTok. Because you were simultaneously in the future, in the past, and the Wild West all at the same time. All right, because you will see next year's model of electric Range Rover driving down a dirt road in Mumbai trying to avoid hitting stray cows. I'm not making that up. That is true. That is not an exaggeration for comedic effect. You will have to live with people who are different from you, and it's easy then to go, oh my gosh, my life is hard, but it's not that hard, right? There's a comparative factor that exists in Asia that I feel does not happen here in many suburbs, not all suburbs, but a lot of suburbs in America. That actually leads me directly to the 4th tip, which is manage your energy. This is a big one. People forget this a lot because we're used to considering money and time as resources. I live in LA, I go to San Francisco a lot, and it's always this big conundrum. Do I drive or do I fly? And everybody does the math, they look at the gas prices, they look at how much the ticket costs, they look at the time, they look at the traffic. But they don't think about how they'll feel when they get there, right? If you drive, which I've made that drive many times, you might be exhausted by the time you get there. That's energy. That's an important part of it because people will oftentimes talk about a straight shot, because they'll say that, oh, LA to San Francisco, it's a straight shot. I'm like, well, the moon is a straight shot. That doesn't mean it's close. It's really far away. What do you mean a straight shot? But as I've gotten older, I realize what that means. There are fewer turns. There's less you have to think about. You just shoot up the five, because I live in LA, so we won't say 5, the 5, and then you'll realize that, okay, I know what people mean now. So that is all part of the energy. And also manage your energy by replenishing. This is what I was talking about our parents' generation. They oftentimes did not take breaks. They really valued the fact that they could work for hours and hours and hours. But you probably heard the story of some, what is it, the 2 people who are chopping wood and somebody's chopping for like 10 hours and the other person chopped for maybe 6. But she chopped way more wood than the person over here. Why? Because she sharpened the saw. Right? She would go and she would sharpen the saw. That's what relaxation time is. That's what vacation time is. One of my brothers, one of the ones I showed you there, Vikas, he's a VP of Heineken in New York City, so he has a lot of fun. And he has a theory on this, not just a theory, a practice on this. He always has his next vacation booked. Even if it's 6 months out, he loves having it on his calendar. He put the money down, it makes it real. Now, applying for a job, this probably belongs more in the collegiate section than the pro section, but I thought this was interesting. This idea of trying to ask questions in an interview, hopefully you retire in your current jobs and you're super happy, but if you're ever looking for another job, I posted this on Quora. I don't know how many people here know Quora. I think a lot of technical people are on Quora, so I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads right now. So somebody had asked, what reply does the interviewer expect when he or she asks, do you have any questions for us? And I posted, the last 5 people who have held this position, where are they now? Hands down, the best question I've ever heard. I wish I could remember the source so I could attribute. Of course, if it's a new company or role, there may not be 5 people, but you get the point. I've now asked it myself a number of times, and it impresses the heck out of the interviewer, as it's almost always a stumper. From my perspective, nothing is more important than this information, because it tells you where the role leads. I want to know if the last few people got promoted, were fired, changed departments, went back to school, or slept with the boss's spouse. Okay, I'm kidding on that last point, but seriously, what is more important than this? It has, what, 700,000 upvotes, or views, I guess, 6,000 upvotes, 700,000 views. It really resonated with people, because at the end of the day, isn't that the point? You want to know, where does this job lead? That's going to be really, really important. If everyone goes, yeah, they stayed in it for 30 years, they loved it, they retired, that's probably a good job, potentially.